Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. It's live from our news hub here at Desawe in Kanda. My name is Alfred Akanse.
And I'm Natalie Force. Let's take a look at the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Assembly member suspected to have incited the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama arrested.
The Institute of Economic Affairs IAS survey reveals 37% of Ghanaians want government to focus on fighting crime and increase personal security.
Also in the bulletin, struggles of recovery from tobacco addiction as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World No Tobacco Day.
And in business this evening, World Bank commits $45 billion for Africa in the next 3 years in a move to end extreme poverty by 2030.
And on the foreign front, Afghan president describes bomb blast which killed at least 90 people as crime against humanity. We have the details of these stories as well as the very latest from the world of business, sports and entertainment in the next hour. Stay with us.
Now, the Ghana Police Service has confirmed the arrest of the assemblyman who was declared wanted over murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama in Denchira, Obuasi in the Central Region. The man you see on the screen, the assemblyman William Ba, who is believed to have incited some residents of the town to lynch the military officer, reported himself to the police Wednesday afternoon. William Ba was accompanied by the immediate past district chief executive, Ambrose Amoa Ashai, who the NDC parliamentary candidate for Upper Denchira West constituency in the 2016 general elections. Police say they suspect the assemblyman and 2 women were also neck deep in the gruesome murder of the late Adam Mahama. William Ba fled the town since the incident on Monday, May 29. Eyewitnesses say the assemblyman is currently in police custody.
And the police administration has dispatched a specialist team comprising homicide squad, crime scene management and action units of police operations from the headquarters to Denchira, Obuasi to, among others, gather further evidence and intelligence regarding the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama on Monday, May 29, 2017. Presently, police are keeping 6 suspects related to the murder of Captain Mahama in custody. They are William Ba, the assemblyman of Denchira Obuasi, Bismarck Donko, Philip Beidu, Kofi Nyame, Anthony Amoa and Kofi Beidu. The Inspector General of Police has meanwhile assured the public that the police will employ all means possible to uncover circumstances leading to the murder and those behind it.
Well, in a related development, a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Legon, Professor Ransford Jampo, has challenged the police service to ensure only those directly linked to the lynching of Captain Mahama are prosecuted. The former lecturer of the deceased expects suspected criminals to be prosecuted only after the outcome of detailed investigations to avoid nolle prosequis being filed.
Professor Jampo says he has been close to the deceased captain and his wife.
My car was stolen, and that day the car got stolen, Captain Mahama wore his military uniform to lectures. And all this while he was coming for lectures, but he never wore his military uniform. And so when I saw him in the uniform, I went to tell him what had happened. And he quickly told me that he knew what he would do to help. And he worked with his colleagues and in helping to track down the vehicle.
He shared fond memories of his past students who he held in high esteem, describing him as having been security conscious.
With these kinds of qualities, how are you able to perform as a soldier? And he told me before that, well, modern day soldiering doesn't need you to be very out there, very aggressive and all that. You can still do your work and all that. He's a very affable gentleman, very respectful, and very caring and security conscious.
Professor Jampo wants detailed investigations into the matter to bring the perpetrators to book.
The police must do a good job in ensuring that only those who perpetrated this crime are arrested. They shouldn't try to be seen to be working by just going to arrest people they know are innocent, only for them to be sent to court and then to be freed.
Meanwhile, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has called on the bereaved family to commiserate with them.
The Vice President assured the family perpetrators of the heinous crime would be prosecuted, while government ensures the safety and security of all Ghanaians. The head of the Bole traditional area, Chief Hase, expressed worry over the death of his nephew and called on government to provide adequate support to prosecute the perpetrators.
We did not like what was circulating. We didn't even see it at first. People drew our attention to it. So if it went that far, we thought that the government agents who are responsible for blocking these things should have done their job.
He believed the death of his nephew is a major sacrifice for the military.
For my own grandchild, I've brought up this way to be killed cold-blooded. He is one of the best snipers. I was at his graduation. He got a prize for it. He could have finished all those people, but the rules and regulations, he sacrificed his life for their lives.
He deplored comments made by the DCE on the incident and called for his immediate dismissal.
Continue to plead that DCE. I think he has not only hurt the family, I believe he has hurt a lot of people.
You know, so there's been different sides of this story from different persons who say they were eyewitnesses whose accounts conflict each other. Whereas, many believe that this is just a mistaken identity as a result of mob action. Others also believe that he's just a casualty as a result of government's clamp down on this illegal mining or galamsey going on in the country. But just so we know exactly the fact that this is not the first time we are witnessing this issue of mob action. There's a difference. This is not a case of mob justice, but it is a case of mob action against persons who are innocent, okay? And what we're going to do is to get into history and just chronicle in not too distant past a number of mob action cases. And this is in no way to remind the families of these persons of their loss, but just to keep us abreast with the fact that it's becoming one too many and something needs to be done about it. What you see behind me right now is the famous case of these two constables, Owusu Sehere alias Kweku Ninja, and you have that in mind, and Jerry Wonu alias Tola, who were murdered at Ablekuma. If you recall that particular case, these two were reportedly assigned to invite the parties involved in a protracted land dispute at Ablekuma in the Greater Accra region. This resulted in their death when some 10 persons mopped up and beat them to their death. They buried their bodies, and I recall somewhere in 2011 on the 10th of March, that was when one of the persons suspected to have partook in this particular crime was arrested, and it went on. In 2007, the administrator of the Goso Government Hospital, Anthony Yeboah Boateng, was murdered on suspicion that he was part of a criminal gang that was also of a mistaken identity. Unfortunately, he lost his life. And this is a critical situation, and that's not alone in that. In 2011, a suspected phone thief known as Amina was molested at the University of Ghana, and that video also went viral with students of the University of Ghana molesting this suspected thief and also literally trampling on their human rights. In February 2017, this year, some 3 months ago, a young lady accused of having stolen money was stripped naked, beaten, and paraded barefoot on the streets of Kejitia, where her legs were open. And I obviously know that some of you saw that video on social media, and it's becoming very worrying that a lot of times when these things happen, you have people who will take their time and video it and put it on social media. That consent has been raised. But the question is Adams Mahama going to be the last victim of mob action in this country? That's the question that we're going to be pondering over. Natalie.
Absolutely, Alfred. Well, we'll stay on this a little further as the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, is calling on the public to provide any form of evidence available to aid in the investigation on the killing of the military officer. This was on the sidelines of the first ever pulling out ceremony of the first Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service.
The minister condemned mob action and finds it unacceptable and an affront to the rule of law in Ghana. Several concerns have been raised on the efficiency of the justice system in Ghana, influencing some Ghanaians to engage in instant justice. Minister for Interior Ambrose Derry, however, dismissed such concerns and said investigations are underway to ensure that justice is served. He called on the public to aid in the investigations.
We are calling on all of you who have those videos that show it was in the courtroom to bring them. Bring them right now. I'm going to the office. Bring the videos.
He explains that the presence of the military at the crime scene is not in any way to disrupt the investigations of the police into the killing of the military officer.
Investigation is not by the military. It's going to be by the police, CID, that will do so. So whatever happened first, yes, had to do with, you are going to a place that we know is a Galamsey area, that we've had threats of citizens telling us that we are going to go in 3 days, and if you want, come and meet us. It will be stupid for us to go into that area without force.
The outgoing Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Felix Yao Sapon, served for 37 years, rising through the ranks. He hands over to Kwame Techi. His appointment took effect from March 1, 2017. He promised to give off his best.
Well, a survey by the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, indicates security is the #1 concern of many Ghanaians. 37.1% of Ghanaians want government to focus on fighting crime and increase personal security in the country while ensuring the creation of jobs, implementation of the free SHS policy, and improving the NHIS system.
The survey, which was conducted in March, sought to investigate and seek the opinion of the public on their expectations of the new government based on the promises contained in the NPP manifesto and the 2017 budget, and also to assess whether the policy priorities of government are in line with the real expectations of Ghanaians.
It is the IEA's hope that the survey findings will guide the new administration's policy prioritization process and shape government's program for the year 2017 and beyond.
1,641 persons were interviewed through the random digit dialing technology based on the agenda, age, locality, and educational level. According to the survey, job creation was top of the priority areas for economic issues at 33%, with building infrastructure at the least of their expectations at 8.4%. In terms of education, 51.9% of the respondents want free SHS, 34.3% want education improved, whilst 13.8% want more schools to be constructed.
Government should tread cautiously and hasten slowly in its attempt to create new administrative regions, because You have some people, I believe, said they liked it, but I'm not sure they really thought through it.
For health, 57% of the people want NHIS improved, 22.2% want healthcare delivery improved, and 20.8% want more hospitals put up. Rising cost of utilities, ending power cuts, improved water supply and clean environment were some of the critical issues government should address. On the issue of corruption, most people preferred investigating and punishing corruption to the appointment of an independent prosecutor. On the creation of new administrative districts, 54% of respondents strongly agreed with the idea, while 17.8% strongly disagree. Some participants at the event shared their views on the findings.
For me, the fact that environment was not a topical issue was worrying.
We are expectant, and because we have become an impatient people, we want to see the results as quickly as possible, and if not, we will punish the government for it.
When it comes to the issue of indiscipline or all the other things, corruption, it's a national issue. All of us have to stand against it.
In other news this evening, Ghana and Niger will soon enter a permanent joint commission to strengthen trade and investment between the two countries. This was disclosed by President Akufo-Addo after meeting with his Nigerian counterpart, President Issoufou Mahamadou, in Niamey.
The visit to Niger ended the third phase of President Akufo-Addo's tour of West Africa. President Akufo-Addo expressed concern about the volume of trade between the two countries, emphasizing the need for improvement.
The need for us on a bilateral level to step up our cooperation so that the next session of the Permanent Commission for Joint Cooperation will be in Accra. The present understanding is that it will be in the first part of next year. But for myself, if we can bring it into this year, the latter part of this year, we will try and do so.
The president noted a common agriculture policy and tariff regime among member countries will boost growth. On the fight against terrorism, President Akufo-Addo pledged Ghana's support to Niger, which is in the front line in the fight against terrorism.
And it's important that everybody within the community, whether they are directly affected or not, give maximum support to Niger in this important fight. The fight of Niger is not just for Niger, but it is for the entire community of West Africa.
Merci.
Still ahead of the bulletin tonight. World Bank commits $45 billion for Africa in the next 3 years in a move to end extreme poverty by 2030.
And on the foreign front, Afghan president describes bomb blasts which killed at least 90 people as crime against humanity. We'll bring you the details of these stories shortly. Stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us on News 360. Let's do business. My name is Nanikia Mensah. But let's still focus on the presidency. As President Akufo-Addo has revealed, government will soon issue a $2.5 billion bond to retire the legacy debt in the energy sector. The move, he said, is to create space for increased investments in the sector. At a World Bank Development Finance Forum in Accra, the president said Ghana is a land of opportunities and open for business.
The two-day investment meeting is the World Bank Group's third and the first in Africa.
There is so much potential in Africa. Yet this potential, we know, has not fully been realized yet because of some challenges that countries face in attracting investment, which is critical to achieve our sustainable development goals and also the World Bank twin goals of eliminating extreme poverty and sharing prosperity.
President Akufo-Addo reiterated his administration's resolve to create a conducive environment for the private sector to do business.
My government has also moved quickly to address the energy supply constraints by tackling the financial challenges of the sector, as well as defining a policy framework that would encourage private sector investment. We will very soon issue a $2.5 billion United States energy sector bond to retire the legacy debt in the sector, of the energy sector, and create space for increased investment in the sector.
The president wants a more efficient partnership between the public and private sector to engender growth and prosperity.
Leveraging development financing and partnerships to attract private capital to finance infrastructure development in many developing and distressed countries, in line with the new thinking referred to as, quote, from billions to trillions, transforming development finance.
The forum on the theme Unlocking Private Investment in African Markets is aimed at forming closer collaboration between the public and private sector to enhance the release of untapped private finance investment in key areas of growth such as infrastructure, energy, and agribusiness.
Meanwhile, the World Bank Group has committed $45 billion for Africa in the next 3 years in a move to end extreme poverty by 2030. Additionally, a new $2.5 billion private sector window has been initiated by the group to mobilize private sector investment and contribute to job creation in Africa.
The initiative under the International Development Association, IDA 18, the International Finance Corporation, and the Multilateral Investments Guarantee Agency will, among other things, enable private sector partnerships.
What we expect to do is working with the domestic private sector, with the international private sector, to see how we can give an additional stimulus to investments, and in that sense make also a contribution to job creation on the continent.
The private sector window will enable private capital flowing to sub-Saharan Africa, giving way to more opportunities and development. Addressing the media on the sidelines of the World Bank Development Finance Forum in Accra, Vice President of the Multilateral Investments Guarantee Agency, Karen Finkelson, said small-scale businesses will benefit most.
How do we work with SMEs? How do we ensure that local businesses get access to this funding, either indirectly through financial intermediaries or through working with the larger companies that come in? But we need to make sure that small businesses have benefits from this program and that jobs are created.
The two-day financial forum will identify constraints to developing a vibrant private sector and opportunities for attracting investments that can make positive impact on people's lives. CEO of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, called on leaders to focus on challenging sectors of the economy for job creation.
And the only way to create jobs is to focus on industrialization and agriculture, and also supplying enough power for our people. And I think if we can really target that, then education, of course, to train the people who will run the businesses going forward. With this, I think we'll achieve quite a lot. If we're going to take 10 different things, we might not achieve much.
Right, we'll still stay a while longer on issues of the private sector because Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says government expects a massive flow of credit to the private sector after the digital address and national identification systems become effective before close of year. As the commemoration of GIPS at 10, he said government is putting in place the necessary infrastructure for economic transformation and job creation.
Government says a new national identification system as the backbone for formalizing the economy is expected to be completed before close of year. Total interoperability in a national digital address system would also be deployed to help reduce the risk profile of people and improve their access to financial services This is expected to tremendously transform the economy.
With the plethora of electronic payment delivery channels, coupled with macroeconomic stability that we are pursuing, one can envisage the massive flow of credit to the private sector that will occur. The resultant business expansion, job and wealth creation will follow naturally.
Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Millicent Na, said the central bank is exercising firm oversight over the country's payment system to avert the growing cyber threat posed by hackers.
The bank is also in the process of issuing guidelines for the establishment of cyber security protocols and procedures for routine and emerging scenarios, fiscal security measures for IT centers and control rooms to ensure data security at the highest level.
Chief Executive Officer of GIPS, Achihesi, intimated the company is collaborating with stakeholders, including the banks and telcos, to increase patronage of electronic payment systems in the country.
Attaining a cash-light society status requires deliberate policy on payments and collections coupled with financial inclusion and literacy.
And we move away to some other matters. 40 retailers of Vivo Energy Ghana and operational managers have been rewarded for outstanding performance in 2016. The award is to encourage improved service that will help or make Shell a preferred fuel brand in the country.
Vivo Energy operates in over 200 Shell stations across the country and remains the #1 supplier of choice in the country's retail and commercial markets. Addressing retailers, management and staff of the Vivo Energy Company at the awards night in Koforidua, Managing Director Ebenezer Faulkner said despite 2016 having been a tough year for the industry, the retail business increased network size through a robust plan.
That 2016 was a golden year in the minds of the entire management and staff of Vivo Energy Ghana for an outstanding loops performance. Thanks to all of you, we were able to achieve double-digit growth in 2016.
Ebenezer Faulkner noted Vivo Energy seeks to become the most respected energy business in Africa and will continue to create an environment that is extremely comfortable and attractive to customers.
At Vivo Energy, the customer remains the focus of our business, and the company will continue to embark on customer delight programs to ensure they get the best value from our Shell service stations.
On health, safety and security, he explained it remains a top priority and urged retailers to be proactive at all sides. Some 40 retailers and operational managers were rewarded. George Afo of the Mbrum service station in the Ashanti region emerged the country retailer of the year 2016.
In Shell, the key performance indicators is one of the key things that we do, making our customers smile every other day, motivating our staffs to feel that they are also important in the business.
The country retailer, gold retailer and service champion will embark on an all-expenses-paid trip to New York City.
All right, there's more news on our website, 3news.com. That'll do for Business Tonight. My name is Nanekia Mensah-Brampa. We have more for you from Natalie and Alfred talking about World No Tobacco Day. Stay tuned.
That's a great concern, and that's today World No Tobacco Day. According to the World Health Organization, tobacco epidemic is one of the biggest public health threats, killing more than 7 million people each year. As Ghana marks World No Tobacco Day, Nadima Omar Othman sheds light on the struggles of recovering tobacco addicts.
Tobacco-related deaths is predicted to grow to more than 8 million a year by 2030 without intensified action. Journalist Fred Chidi was a chronic tobacco user for 36 years. He started his journey to tobacco recovery 6 months ago. From smoking 3 sticks of cigarettes daily, Fred went on to smoking 40 sticks in a day.
It was a situation where we had our seniors who would send you to go buy sticks of cigarettes for them. He asked me to go buy Embassy, but I went to buy 555. So he got angry with me and asked me to smoke it. So he lit it up for me, and then I smoked.
He says, aside the effect it had on his finances, tobacco addiction nearly cost him his family, and that was his turning point.
On this occasion, I went to the emergency room, and my blood pressure was taken, and everybody, the nurses and the doctors, rushed on me, and I felt a bit odd, weird, as to why everybody was looking at me. And one of the doctors asked me, how did you survive this? Because you could have just fallen dead.
He has since embarked on a campaign to fight tobacco addiction, calling on government to increase taxes on cigarettes and enforce the ban on smoking at public places. Richard Opare's story is no different. The once multiple drug user was hooked on tobacco, cocaine and heroin for more than 14 years. Like Fred, he is also on the road to recovery and serves as an anti-drug advocate.
Although I had been told in a way, I didn't see the effect financially. And because I had used hard drugs for about 2 years, and never saw the effects. I was getting them for free until the source blocked. That was when I began seeing the ugly side of drugs.
Richard resorted to social vices to sustain his addiction. Like many other addicts, Richard did not have the support system expected. Head of Addictive Disease Unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Logosu Amegashi, noted the number of tobacco addiction cases recorded is reducing steadily and suggested measures be put in place to eradicate misconceptions about addictions, underscoring the need to seek professional assistance.
When the rehabs are many, then the cost of treatment would go down, especially if they are governmental. But the challenge we also have is that we don't have trained addiction professionals in Ghana. We have about only 18 trained addiction professionals now, as opposed to about 200 and the rest in Kenya.
It's certainly inspiring to have senior veteran journalist Fred Chidi come out and speak about his experience. Well, the head of Disease Control and Prevention Department of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Che Farid, has cautioned the youth to stay away from smoking shisha as it is more harmful than cigarette use. At a ceremony to mark World No Tobacco Day, Dr. Che Farid warned advertisers to adhere to the ban on advertising shisha or risk sanctions. Shisha is a way of smoking tobacco, sometimes mixed with fruit or molasses sugar, through a bowl, hose or a tube.
Although government has taken steps to reduce the importation and the use of tobacco products by increasing the ad valorem tax 17.5%, statistics on tobacco use in Ghana is said to be high, especially among the youth, as 3.6% of junior high students smoke. Ghanaians contribute to the 6 million people who die from smoking globally. 7 out of the 10 tobacco-related deaths globally that occur in developing countries are caused by tobacco use.
One cigarette smoker among every 10 men you see. And those in junior high school, that for every 20-25 that you take, one person is smoking daily. That is dangerous. We are urging that people should stay away from tobacco in every form that it takes, whether it's chewing, snuffing, using a pipe, using shisha, or taking a cigarette.
Smoking in public places was banned following the passage of the Public Health Bill by Parliament in 2012. Yet, shisha, which is more harmful than cigarette, according to health experts, is gradually taking over. It would be recalled that the FDA pulled down some billboards in Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital, advertising shisha. The FDA insists shisha smoking in the open is banned.
You cannot advertise shisha use in Ghana. Let them mount again. The punishment is 9,000 Ghana cedis fine, plus 3 years imprisonment or both. And then you pay administrative charges of 200,000 to FDA.
As the world commemorates No Tobacco Day, Ghana launched a cessation guidelines to aid health workers, assist smokers who want to quit, and also adopt the tobacco regulation LI 2247.
We want to strengthen our national tobacco control capacity by incorporating strong policies into existing health and development strategies and to protect public health policies from the commercial and vested interests of the tobacco industry.
The Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health are calling on all citizens to get actively involved in the campaign against tobacco use.
Alfred, we do know that smoking shisha has become something that a lot of young people fancy doing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and just so this is information.
It is.
It's dangerous, and they must take caution. Although he is aware of the negative impact of smoking tobacco, 32-year-old Joseph Ni Oko is saying that he is unable to stop. He confessed his smoking habit started when he was 15 years old. Here's a report by Odelia Ajimampempa.
Cigarette smoking is the #1 risk factor for lung cancer and responsible for 87% of lung cancer deaths. Chances of living 5 years after being diagnosed is 1 in 5. This notwithstanding, people smoke for several reasons best known to them. Joseph Ni Oko has been smoking since age 15. He could not tell the number of sticks he smokes in a day because he has lost count. He attributed his smoking habit to idleness and is ready to quit if he gets a job that will keep him busy.
Just I'm feeling like if I'm smoking, it will make me like cool out to forget more things I'm doing. That's why. Because if you get a job, you're not going to smoke like that time you don't get a job.
Anti-drug advocate Richard Opare cautioned against tobacco use.
Cigarette is a deadly substance, and I will urge that once you start using cigarette, you have signed your death warrant.
May 31 is a day set aside to annually celebrate World No Tobacco Day. The day is to create awareness and highlight the health risks associated with tobacco use and encourage governments to adopt effective policies to reduce smoking and other tobacco use.
Wow, Alfred. It's important that chain smokers do develop the strong will to break the habit.
Absolutely. Where there's a will, there's always a way. But we'll be back shortly with some more stories. Don't go away.
Good evening, it's News 360 Sports News Time now. And let's get straight into the stories. The Black Stars have started their build-up for the 2019 Nations Cup qualifier against Ethiopia. Coach Kwesi Appiah took 17 players through the session, including all 7 home-based players named in the side. Also present were the England-based trio of Andre Ayew and Jordan Ayew, as well as Daniel Amate of Leicester City. France-based Majid Waris, who has been recalled to the side after missing the 2017 Nations Cup, was also present, as was Yao Yeboah, the Manchester City forward currently on loan at 20 Enschede. The session was the first time Appiah and his new backroom staff, including former Black Stars Stephen Appiah and Richard Kinson, met up with the team. And Deputy Captain Andre Ayew is delighted to be working with them.
10 years, and I've met different coaches, and I've worked with him before, so we know him, we know what he's up to, you know that he has gotten back into the team with even more experience, so hopefully we will get results. And today the first day of training was good, and let's say we're happy to be back to see Steven in the squad, to see Olele part of the team. So I think it's players who have done the great days of the national team and know what they are about.
Now, the session was, as I mentioned, was the first time that Appiah was training with a team. But there were also a number of new players who were in the side. Andre Ayew says that the new players showed great quality in the training session.
To be fair, some you know, some you don't know, but there are some few of them I know. And today, we could see that there's quality in the players. Okay, we all know that training and game is a different ball game, but to be honest, they were up to the task to their training. I congratulate all of them already to be here for the first time. It's not easy to be in the Ghana Black Stars, so if they have the opportunity, they should thank their God and make sure that they seize it as the best as they can.
Elsewhere, some members of the Black Starlets are looking forward to careers in Europe after returning home from the African Under-17 Championship. The performance of the team, where they finished second behind Mali, has attracted scouts from all around Europe, and star Mani Manotoku and goalkeeper Ibrahim Danladi are eager to jump on the next available Exodus train.
Back home for stock taking and planning for the future. That is a lot of the members of the Black Starlets after their performance at the Africa Under-17 Championships. Based on the quality of football displayed in Gabon by Ghana's Under-17 side, there are those convinced many of these players are on the path to stardom. But ex-internationals and Under-17 products Samuel Osei and Neo Datilamte have warned that path needs to be well manicured. With clubs keen to cash in, family pressure and willing agents keen to exploit, it could provide a complicated period for many of the youngsters, many of whom are already contemplating careers in Europe.
I'm hoping and then I'm sure that I'll get a contract outside Ghana. I want to be a professional player and it's not easy to be a professional player. So I'll try my possible best to work hard so that I can achieve my aim.
I target to play in Europe, big club, to show myself that I'm also a talented person coming up. When I went to Europe, I'll get more money to take care of my parents.
First, the players will focus on the Under-17 World Cup due to take place in India in October. It seems by the time the tournament comes around, many of the players will already be on the books of foreign clubs.
Toku wants to get money so he can look after his family. Smart boy. Let's get some quick notes now then on some major developments on the coaching front in Europe. And Arsenal have confirmed that Arsene Wenger is staying on for another 2 years at the club. In Spain, Ernesto Valverde has been outlawed as the new Barcelona manager. But let's go back to that Arsenal story. And Wenger himself says that he's more than delighted to be back, to still be in charge of the club.
Happy and excited. Happy because I can work where I love to be, and as well because this club cherishes the values I love, and excited because I believe that our end of season is a good springboard to go for more. We have created a dynamic that is very positive, and we want to build on from that and transfer the positive end of season to the new season.
Arsene Wenger staying in. To some news from the ongoing French Open, where both Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic have been in action. Nadal, who is chasing a 10th French Open title, is through to the third round of the competition after a straight-set win over Netherlands' Robin Haas. Earlier, Djokovic had secured his place by beating the Portuguese Joao Sousa in straight sets. That's all the sports for now.
Welcome back to News 360. Entertainment news this evening. Social media is awash with many humorous videos of people climbing a ladder. The fad is christened Follow the Ladder Challenge. Owusu Arai tells us more about this trend.
Let's go, ladies.
Trends come and go. The Mannequin Challenge, the Ice Bucket Challenge, and the Calipo Challenge are no more in vogue. The latest fad in town is the Follow the Ladder Challenge, a trend where people climb all sorts of things in an attempt to reach heaven.
Follow the ladder, follow the ladder, follow the ladder to heaven. Ladder, 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 ladder. Our Lord Jesus is the ladder. Ladder, 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 ladder. Our Lord Jesus is our ladder. Ladder, follow the ladder. Yeah, follow the ladder. Yeah, follow the ladder to heaven.
Any of those videos I see, I just laugh because they are always coming out with different concepts, you know, different people, different concepts, but the same song and different same stuff.
The song is getting a lot of attention now. It's getting a lot.
It's even my ringtone.
It's fun and it just takes away the stress.
Sometimes you are serious and you see certain videos and It just makes your day. You laugh out loud. Yeah.
One would ask, how did it come about? Well, the fun challenge was inspired by Nigerian singer Agnes Iro's old but fascinating video to her song, Follow the Ladder, which showed believers climbing a ladder to heaven. Fans created their versions of the video to ridicule the concept, but it went viral. Many hilarious videos, most of which evoke creativity, have since surfaced. Those who are afraid of heights are not left out in the trend. Some celebrities have already joined the fun.
The one Efia Schwarzenegger did is so crazy and it's creative. She's about to take alcohol and the ladder, like a voice came from heaven to follow the ladder. So you have to drop your alcohol, pick up your handkerchief and dance and follow the ladder. And unfortunately, the ladder is just a poly tank or something. So
this might make your day.
Ladders are in high demand now. Finding one is becoming increasingly difficult. Some way, somehow, they all seem to have disappeared to heaven.
Our Lord Jesus is the ladder. Ladder, 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 ladder. Our Lord Jesus is our ladder. Ladder, follow the ladder. Follow the ladder. Follow the ladder to heaven. Sister, follow the ladder.
I'll be disappearing very soon to heaven. Join me as I follow the ladder to heaven.
Oh, amusing story there. Our reporter couldn't help but follow the ladder himself. Well, we'll bring you more news here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us.